Alright, I'm going to do a quick down and dirty tear down of the Silver Bullet Mechanical, something I've affectionately call the M for short. And yes, you can see my face. Anyway, right now I'm using a Phoenix V5 on it. I actually like the design of the Phoenix V5, and I think I'm going, in fact I know I'm going to make a dripper for the Silver Bullets. I think something a little bigger, you know, with a deeper deck area. Now I want to apologize in advance for the craptastic quality of this video. I'm doing it by myself. I'm going to try to keep everything in frame and in focus, but basically I'll walk you through disassembling this one. This one is an anodized version, which I should be able to pick up tomorrow. I opted to put a chrome button in it just because I thought it looked cool. But the bottom of the M is exactly the same as the original Silver Bullet. I kept it the same just because of the diameter. A lot of people with arthritic hands like the larger diameter, and it still works with a kick. Alright, brief overview of this, if I can get it in focus. It has a 303 stainless 510 in-house made connector, and it does thread into the top. I made it threaded because in the future I may actually do a few accessories that'll thread into there. But anywho, silver plated Tellurium copper, I can never say that. I can't remember the ASTM spec right off the top of my head, but as you can see here, hopefully, I hope this stays in focus this time. We have vents there in the saddle. But hey, let's jump to it. Let's take it apart. Just put your thumb over the button. You don't have to depress it. And take a 1/16 Allen wrench, which will be included with all the units, with the exception of a few of the first adopters. Won't have it because I had a shipping delay from MSC for these Allen keys to include with them. The connectors both have a 1/16 hex broached into them. Anywho, let's get to it. Keep your thumb over the button, stick it down in there. It's your handy dandy Allen wrench. You pop it loose. Let me actually count that. There's 1, 2 full turns, and then just like flip it over, stick your Allen wrench down in there, break it loose. 1, 2 full turns. Now turn it over, let go of the button, and the button assembly comes out. We're going to set this to the side in frame, but it will be out of focus. Pretty standard in here as far as the housing. And here is your switch saddle. As you can see, there is a stainless steel spring down in there. Now normally you won't even need to take this thing apart to clean it. I mean, the silver plated contacts, they actually do very well as far as staying clean, but if you do, once you have this out, you can remove the atomizer post and then the battery post. And if you want to, if you really want to be thorough, you can pull this spring out. It is stainless steel. Just take your handy dandy Allen key, oops, and it'll pull right out. And this is just, you know, just clean it with a microfiber, whatever you want to do. See, stay in focus. You can get down in there with a Q-tip or whatnot. As I said before, there are vent and a drain. Actually, the drain, you're not going to be able to see it in this video, but if you ever take it apart, you'll see it. It's at the very bottom of the switch. Let's say if you want to clean it or something with jewelry cleaner, and then you just, you know, set it down like so, and it'll drain. Now in future runs, I may actually put the vent and drain on both sides, and you'll see why here in a second. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. There we go, still in frame. And we'll take the switch assembly. There are a few parts to it, 6 total, including the O-ring and the screw. And it also has a 440 stainless screw by 1/2 inch with a 1/16 hex head. And you will just insert your hex key, unthread that, and the switch will come apart. Okay, I'll do this piece by piece. Your actuator cap, just chrome plated aluminum or anodized plated aluminum. In the future I may do some in brass, or for limited editions, or even gold plate them. Okay, now I'm going to show you each part. This is your lower switch assembly. It is black acetal. Actually, I'm sorry, belay that. This is your upper switch assembly, upper half. You have your lower switch assembly, which is in white acetal. Now they're different colors. It was more for me when it comes to the assembly. You have these parts in a bin, and these two parts sitting next to one another, they look kind of similar, and it was faster for me to grab it, but at least this way it'll also be easier for you. Okay, now the contacts, let's see, hopefully I can get this. There you go. This one right here is your short. This is your battery side contact. There we go. And then you have your taller, which is your atomizer side contact. And then your main contact that goes on the switch. Now the cool thing about this, 360 degrees of contact area, and over time as you depress the button throughout the day, this will rotate in the assembly so you have fresh contact points on almost every hit. It's awesome. Okay, well, let's put the switch back together really quick. First, take your screw, stick it in the white plastic, the white acetal, and there is an area for the head to recess just a little bit, like this, and then set that down. Now take your upper switch assembly and take your O-ring. Nothing really special about it. I mean, it's a standard size 06, or actually number 60. And I'm happy that I could stick with a standard O-ring, because as you know, all O-rings will eventually wear. They can get hard or whatever, but these actually stand up to chemicals pretty well. You take that, you'll stick it on the upper switch assembly, push it down. Now I don't have to go all the way down right at this stage. And then you would take your silver contact, stick it down on there. Now, go ahead and press that just a little bit. Now get that O-ring seated right where, it's kind of hard to do, keep it in frame. Just press it down and get the O-ring right where it needs to be. Okay, and then you'll take this, this assembly, and you take your screw, stick it down through, like so. And you'll grab, grab it, stick your switch down there. As you can see, there is an area for your switch cap to go down into. Yep, there we go. Just stick that right there. Take your handy dandy Allen wrench, stick it in there. Now, to prevent cross threading, turn this backwards when it's sitting together, and you'll hear and actually feel like a little snap. That means it engaged the threads. And you'll snug this down. Do not manhandle this. You can crush it. I mean, it'd take a lot of pressure, but I don't want to see you do that. And then all you do is just tweak, and you'll feel it be tight. Now you'll know you have it right when you can't spin the lower switch section here, but you'll be able to spin your contact. The O-ring is compressed by preloaded, we'll say, of about 5/1000ths of an inch. If it was loaded much more than that, you'd get a lot of misfires, because the contact's got to be able to move in order to make good contact. Okay, there's that. I'm going to set that down here. Try to get it in frame. Now your solder, you got to pay attention here to which contact you put where. And as I said earlier, in the future production runs, I'm probably going to make this the holes and vents on both sides. That way it doesn't matter which one goes where. But on the side with no holes, you install the long contact. I hope that's focused. It's going to make me mad if it's not. But there's the long contact. You stick it in here and just kind of, you can turn it backwards a little bit till you feel that little snap. Oh, there we go. And then just start it. You only need one turn, just enough to retain it until we get to the next step. Now the shorter contact, the short little guy, it goes in the side with the vent and drain. Okay, and do the same thing. Stick it down in the hole, back it, and then you'll feel it pop, and then just turn it like 1 turn maximum, just enough to engage it to hold it. Okay, and you will take your cap with the long post up, no vent holes, up. That goes in first. You'll know you're right when you have the 2 holes facing you. Stick it, lining your switch up. Push it in there. Now see, mine's a little quicker, no big deal. Just turn it with my finger. Then you'll take your switch, stick it down in the recess. Now you need to pay attention on this part. Okay, once you center your switch in the housing, you want to push it down to where the top radius of the switch is just above the bezel area. The bezel area being the flat area where you depress the switch. Okay, because you got to make sure that the upper that the contacts when you thread them in are clearing the contact on the switch. Okay, hey, you can see me. And stick your Allen wrench in there, paying attention to how deep you're doing it. Don't worry, you'll get it really quick. You'll figure it out real quick how far. And then just till it stops, and then just a teeny tweak. That's it, because the friction of the plastic will hold these in. They're not going to back out. Now you can let go of it and then flip it over and do the same for the other. Just get there and then teek, there's a little tweak. Okay, now one other thing I want to point out: when you thread these together, it pushes the switch, oops, upside down, it pushes the switch all the way up to its uppermost adjustment. Okay, now these self-adjust. Okay, I'm going to see if I can do this in frame. Now I'm going to push down on this. See the whole switch assembly move? Now that's what happens when an atomizer threads in. It self-adjusts against the 4-pound rate of the spring. So I didn't want to do rigid because with rigid, a lot of times you have folks that the holes just have to line up with the switch on their unit, so they'll really crank down. And what they do, if you have a rigid center post, you will break the atomizer. You'll trash the atomizer, and then it'll short out, and et cetera, et cetera. You know where the rest of that goes from there. But on this one, I did favor a deeper center post, so I've got it set to 4.3 millimeters, which is a little deeper than spec. It'll accept from 4.3 millimeters to 4.7 millimeters depth, center post depth. And if you have an atomizer, which is a rarity anymore, that has an extremely low center post, you can actually, well, either A, adjust the center post in that atomizer, or you can stick your handy dandy Allen wrench, I just love saying that, and you can loosen that and turn it half a turn, and that's going to raise it about 5/1000 of an inch, which is plenty to accept that low post atomizer. Okay, but mine I don't. Now if you have a center post that's over 4.7 millimeters in depth, like these, a lot of these Phoenixes come with really high ones, and 99% of your rebuildables, you can adjust that center post. Small hammer, little tappy tap, or it's not in front. Actually, there it is. Or I have an arbor press over there, and that's what I'll usually use to adjust them. I'll just tweak them a little bit. So again, if you have one that has a long center post that's over 4.7, and that's just shameful that manufacturers can't stick to a tolerance, and none of them do, and it's irritating as all get out. But you will have to adjust your center post, because if you don't, it will shove this switch into the housing or against the housing, and it'll get stuck. Okay, I think that's about it.